Good morning and welcome back. This is the locker room here on Smooth 98.1. Still Smooth Breakfast, and it's time for us to enter the locker room with Tega.
Yes.
Drum roll, hey!
Good morning, Tega. How you doing?
I'm trying to wake up.
One of the exciting times to get into the locker room with Tega. Even if in real life that is not allowed. But let's talk sports, let us, shall we? You can send in messages via WhatsApp 0809444091. That is for messages 0809444091. The hashtag on Twitter is lockerroom981.
And Valentine and I have been lucky enough to be joining Tega in the locker room this morning.
Yes.
Say it some more.
For a fee.
Alright, transfer fee. Alright, let's move on to talk about fees. We're going to be talking about football first. And this one is Uzoho's Cyprus club appeals 9-point penalty. The Cyprus Football Association on Monday turned a 1-0 victory for Anothos's Famagusta over Apollon Masol into a 3-0 defeat because Nigerian goalkeeper Francis Uzoho had an invalid medical certificate. The certificate was allegedly issued while the player was still on board a flight to Cyprus a day ahead of the February 2 fixture against Apollon. Apollon complained Uzoho only arrived on the Mediterranean island shortly before 4 p.m. local time on Friday, February 1. Yet, the National Sports Office that issues medical certificates closed at 2:30 p.m. Uzoho received a one-match ban and was fined €1,000. That's $1,130. Do the math in Naira.
That's by the FA. We still don't know what this is because the police have picked up the medical doctor whose signature is on this medical certificate and 2 other people. So they've arrested these people, and we're just hoping. In fact, at this point in time, is hope that we are in, because you can't be walking around with a fake medical certificate. It's not.
What was the plan?
Look, they just wanted to get him
to play. Do you know?
What if something happens to him?
So he transferred.
Yes.
He transferred into the club, and the club were quick to. I mean, they needed his services immediately, but it's the worst place. You know.
Maybe this is not Nigeria. You know, when you take in, there's something. It's so unfortunate that we would, in places like this, you see issues of fake certificates, fake this, fake that.
It's embarrassing.
That's just the sum of
Look,
the story.
we hope that it's only embarrassing. We hope that that's where it ends. But once the police gets involved, there's a fraud involved, and they started arresting people. They are going to have to eventually arrest the person that is holding the certificate.
I was going to say that could it jeopardize his chances?
So these are things that we let's see how this case unravels. But I don't think so. The club may be mourning a 9-point penalty, but there may be more penalties in the bag from this country. I wanted to say state, but from the country. This is my worry for Francis Uzoho. Certain things you don't do. Don't go to Europe and misbehave. Please, don't go and be disgracing your family
don't
members.
Don't misbehave in Nigeria either.
Don't do home abroad.
Embarrass us at home, not abroad. But let's move on now. Let's talk about Naomi Osaka. Tega is going to be saying about this. I predict. Now, Japan's Naomi Osaka blamed scrutiny following the split from her coach for defeat on her first match since becoming world number 1. Now, the Australian US Open champion, who's 21 years old, was beaten 6-3, 6-3 by Frances Kristina Mladenovic in the Dubai Tennis Championship second round. When she was asked if she could block out the reaction to the knee, she said, "I couldn't. This match is the result of that. I'm pretty sure as time goes on, you guys will stop talking about it. For now, it's like the biggest tennis news, I guess." She continues, "It's a little bit hard because I feel like people are staring at me, and not like in a good way."
Oh, goodness, get over yourself. this
I
girl,
just imagine a tiny voice.
She just,
talking
she
about
just
it.
gets to me sometimes. Look, you want. Let me put it this way. Naomi Osaka was always destined for top tennis. Like, from the time she was 15, you looked at that girl play, and even the way she played, you could tell that this girl is going for the top. So you don't get to the top and tell me people are looking at me. That's why I couldn't play very well. That's why I was a bit nervous.
Argue she's young, and that's the youthful.
She's 20. That's old in tennis. She's 20. She has She has no excuses. They're looking at me. They came there to look at you. They paid good money to look at you. Play your tennis and get off the court. Look, but these are things that she's going to have to deal with. Like, you knew you were going to be a big time tennis player. You've gone for it. You trained for it every day. You worked hard for it. You woke up in the morning. You told yourself that in the mirror right before you went on court for another 3 hours to tell yourself that this is why you are doing this. And then you get to the front of people and say, people are looking at me and not in a good way. Nobody has to like you, which is why it upsets me when she, she always comes to court and says, it's the way it's as if she's looking for validation when she gives her interviews. People think it's sweet. I think it's upsetting because she gets there and be like, I'm so sweet, love me, I'm so humble, I'm apologizing for beating my opponent. Girlfriend, she does that all the time. So she'll beat somebody and she'll say, I apologize to the crowd, I know you didn't want me win. No.
Oh, that can be upsetting.
The first time she did it, it was cute. By the second time, I wanted to throw up. Stop it.
But don't you believe the fact that
do it.
She's blaming the sack of her manager as leading to her.
Look,
loss.
she fired her manager. Yes. She's world number 1. She won 2 Grand Slam titles with him.
Beat Serena.
She should have known that was going to be news. That people were going to look at her and say, what happened? That people were going to question why they split. I mean, it's understandable for you to split your coach when you're not winning. But you won back-to-back Grand Slams with this guy and you're sacking him. It's a big deal. It's going to be the news. But for her to get up there and say, I feel people are staring at me and not in a good way. But they paid to come and stare at you. People travel.
Just own your decisions. If you're going to make a decision, if you're going to do certain things, just own it.
She should have known.
All right. And if she really feels really sorry, she should do a good giveaway of her prize money.
Wow.
And give
she lost. There was no money.
I mean, the Grand Slam she has won. When she's apologizing for beating those she has won.
Now, Cheryl sent a message on WhatsApp. Cheryl said Nigerians will show themselves anyway. Yeah. Fake certificate. Wow. And then we have a call from First sending this one on WhatsApp. It says, good morning, locker room crew. Please do not allow Aunt Tega to analyze Chelsea and Manchester United FA Cup match.
I can't wait.
I'm yet to recover from the trauma before. And then she says, but Valentine, what is wrong with the 19-year-old guy embarrassing the club, himself and his country? Naomi's new name is Naomi. She has just started. More defeats to come. Tega, please tell Sorry Ball to just vex and resign. Sorry Ball is now Sorry Ball Kilode. Let Zidane enter. Zidane is already in the gym, ready for Chelsea, and 200 minutes. 200 million pounds is ready for the cooler.
As we progress in the stories this morning, let's see if the news will come up. If Tega was kind enough to bring it up. Now, Anthony Joshua shoved by Jarrell Big Baby Miller at New York press conference. Anthony Joshua was shoved by Jarrell Big Baby, aka Big Baby Miller, as the feuding rivals went face-to-face at their first press conference. Joshua and Miller immediately collided before a word was spoken yesterday at Madison Square Garden, the venue which will stage their World Heavyweight Championship fight on June 1.
Yes. Again, if you ask me, this is a fight that Anthony Joshua shouldn't be. It's an unnecessary bout. Big Baby Miller, for me, regardless of what his stats say, I don't think he's a guy. At this point in time, I think he should have been really pushing for either one of the big names or the big mouths, if you ask me. The Tyson Furies, who just signed a contract with ESPN, Deontay Wilder, anybody with Big Baby Miller is not the guy, if you ask me. It's a risky, unimportant person for him to take on. When I say risky, you get into this fight, you could pick up an injury, anything could happen. It's just not the kind of fight that I think he should be indulging in. At this point in time, he doesn't need any more easy matchups, in quotes. He needs to go for the big deal. So both of them, I think that shove and the mouth they're making, I'll ram my jab down your throat, I will do this, it's just to sell the fight that people don't really want to see. What we really want to see is Joshua Tyson Fury, Joshua Deontay Wilder, Joshua Big Baby Miller. Not really.
All right, we'll have to take a break. Lagos, you're listening to The Locker Room here on Smooth 98.1. Stay with us.
Oh, goodness. forgot to take my medicine and it feels like there's something sitting on my chest. Eva. I beg, I don't want to hear this talk. Just play the music. Let me dance to the beat.
Sir?
I don't want to hear their talk. Let them play the music. Let me dance to the beat.
Don't exactly like.
With Maggie, cook the difference. Hey there, you know how navigating through Lagos in rush hour traffic can be tiring?
No, I can't.
That leaves you tired
I want
every
barbecued
time
meat.
you ride. So you know you've got to fuel your tank
You
every
guys.
every chance you get, right? Go!
Why don't you
Total
guys
power
talk to
up
your
promo from
people?
Total does
Let's do
just that.
barbecue this
Energizes
morning.
your car and your
Why do
money.
we think
Okay,
barbecue is
here's
an
how it
evening
works.
food?
Simply drop
I
into
don't know.
select
Why do you
Total
think
service
things like
stations
suya
between the
barbecue is
hours
an
of
Yeah,
6
evening
p.m.
food?
and 8 p.m.
I've
Fuel
you
your
seen
tank
those
with
questions
$3,000
where
or
people
more
ask
and
that?
win
Who said
instantly a free
this?
chilled bottle
They
of
say it's the
fearless
night.
energy
That
drink
night
from
is what
Right
the
Foods
flavor
Limited
is
at
hidden in
no
the night.
extra cost. Fuel
Yes.
your car.
So if
Fuel
if
your
I eat
money.
suya in the morning, it's
You
not
would
taste the
say it's
same.
the same. Have you not tried to eat over
No,
suya
no, that's
over?
because it was over. It stayed overnight. If
Have
it
you
was
eaten
fresh,
kilishi in the morning?
yes,
You know kilishi is made at different times. It doesn't taste
yeah,
like suya.
I was fine with it.
Mhm.
I don't like it. I don't like the fat. I need barbecue something. Or maybe small chops. The chicken in small chops.
Log on to www.wakanow.com or dial 0700-925-2669 to start booking. Terms and conditions apply.
Mm-hmm.
Waka Now. Let's go.
That's a lot of adverts.
Today there have been 2 minutes, over 2 minutes, quite a number.
I beg God, I can look at this one.
Maybe.
It is 20.
Oh, that's true.
I've entered the 20s.
Yay! Someone's about to receive. I forgot where we're going.
I'm saying anything I want. Then today I will receive it. Are you not collecting salary?
I always forget our
I'm sorry, it's you can come argue with Nico Kovac. That guy is an assassin. Maybe I don't know who Nico Kovac is. I met Jonathan Akubo. He also played in the Bundesliga at the same time that Kovac played. He said people used to go to the pitch thinking, how do I avoid Nico Kovac? Like that's how bad he was on the pitch. And he didn't used to smile much. Still doesn't smile much. But I think that's because his team is losing. That's the guy that Jurgen Klopp is trying. He will take him. And if she didn't put that UVA, it will be hell to pay. She will say it again.
Excuse me.
Are we back?
Yes.
after this lineup. In
I need to have
27
seconds and then come
seconds.
back to storage. People are reacting to Nami
It's the pleasure I derive whilst driving to work, and it's the treasure that makes me smile. Knowing I've had a great day, so you can call me a radio star. My radio.
All right, mic's
Smooth
up.
90.
Good to know you're there listening to us here on Smooth 98.1. The program is called Locker Room 981 and this is part of Smooth Breakfast with Ayo.
And Valentine.
And this morning, Lagos, we're taking your messages on WhatsApp 0809444091. Caller Ajibade from Jersey says, Naomi Osaka is now the central attention and star of the story. She has to learn to live with the euphoria of being number one. Sacking her coach might have been premature, but nevertheless, let her bury psychological intuition and show her potentials. Liverpool made a classic example of Manchester United, he said. Now, Caller, thank you for that. We have more messages. Imam from Yaba sent in this one.
My own is not because Manchester United defeated Chelsea, but the fact that Chelsea couldn't score one goal. Goal would have helped my tickets. Chai. Imam from Yaba says.
And Sheriff Oluwaleke Akimbi said, this big baby guy will take the beating of his life on June 1st. Let it just continue to show Joshua up and down. His face will be used to prepare Nigerian jollof. Sheriff Oluwaleke Akimbi, thank you for sending that one. Let's move on to our next story now. Jurgen Klopp accepts that Bayern Munich will be the team most satisfied after Liverpool were held to a goalless draw in the opener of the Champions League last 16 tie. In his words, Klopp said at a post-match news conference, "It is not the result or the game we dreamed of. It was an intense one. You saw the respect both teams have for each other. How it is in situations like this, I'm pretty sure that Bayern in this moment feels a bit better than we do. But we have 3 weeks, and day by day the results will feel a bit better for us and a bit worse for Bayern because it's a 0-0 and it's the best draw you can get."
He's so right. I always, for
Boy.
me, Tega Onojaife, I'm not speaking
Yes.
for anybody.
Okay.
A goalless draw for Liverpool, for the home team, is always a good thing because what it means is that you don't have any away goal to go and try to cancel,
Okay.
which is a great thing. What it means is that you defended your home ground. You may not have scored, but you didn't concede, which is most important. So, if you ask me, the advantage is usually the home team that managed to keep a goalless scoreline.
Yeah.
And so if you ask me, this is advantage Liverpool because what it is Bayern Munich has to stop Liverpool from scoring. That's what they'll be thinking about even before they start thinking about how do we score. So if you ask me, yes, it was not the result that they expected to see. It wasn't the result that I expected to see. I can't imagine that Liverpool is playing against Bayern Munich and there are no goals scored. It was just ridiculous to me. As the match went on, I was wondering what's going on. And it's not like chances weren't created on both ends, especially for Liverpool. Sadio Mane missed a lot of chances. Well, 2 clear ones I can remember right now. But there are a lot more things he could have done on the pitch that would have been impressive to me. And so both teams, yes, created chances and they did not convert. Alisson sometimes forgot that he was a goalkeeper and tried to play midfield football in 18-yard box. Unfortunately, Bayern Munich didn't punish him, but it wasn't the result I expected. That an attacking team like Bayern Munich and Liverpool, or attacking teams like Bayern Munich and Liverpool in Europe, would play a goalless draw. I did not foresee that. So yes, Jurgen Klopp is right to feel disappointed about the goalless draw, but I believe that it is advantage Liverpool because now Bayern Munich have 2 things to do. They have to worry about scoring. They have to worry about not conceding. It's just too much on their plate.
Mimi here says, just want to say I listen to sports because of the way you guys work it in the studio. Tega, I love you on your analysis. P.S. I think that Osaka girl needs a publicist who will coach her for interviews.
Totally.
Yeah,
Maybe she should consider Tega.
the second person said. The second person said that this morning. Remember Boki downstairs?
Yes, she mentioned that.
Totally.
So,
All right.
okay, from the unknown place, sent in this message. It says, I heard the Carabao Cup finals against Man City will determine whether Sarri will be sacked or not. My advice to him is to just resign before the match. Make him no talk, say, I don't want more. Remember how Chelsea was courting Sarri even when Conte was still the coach and he was busy displaying his new pack of cigarettes? Guess what? They are now chasing Zidane like, say, in the skirts. One bad good turn will either favor or destroy you. Barcelona was just busy playing advanced Sarri ball yesterday.
They said they should cancel Sarri ball. Let's see. All right, Martin Terrier goes closest as Lionel Messi draws a blank. Now, Martin Terrier went closest as Lyon's final performance earned a 0-0 draw with Barcelona in the Champions League last 16 first leg. Barcelona had the majority of the chances, but had Marc-Andre ter Stegen to thank for keeping the scores level at halftime when he leapt to his right to deflect Terrier's 25-yard drive onto the bar. The visitors' frustrations were summed up in added time when Messi was brought down by Ferland Mendy just outside the area, only to smack his free kick into the wall before his effort from the rebound was also blocked, leaving the second leg of this tie on March 13 very much in the balance.
Yes, and with a shaky defense like Barcelona's own, if I'm Leon, anything can happen. Like, if he that is down is fear no fall, I'll go all out for it. I would say Leon did a good job yesterday. In fact, every time they came, especially in the first half, to the Barcelona 18-yard box, they got the best chances.
Yeah.
Barcelona did a lot of playing, but not a lot of scoring. And part of Barcelona's problem, if you ask me, is that Messi is not in form. Everyone will be like, oh my God, but he's scored over the weekend. No, Messi hasn't been in good form since he got that groin injury. And I'm not sure he healed completely before he was rushed back. And so it's showing in the way he's playing. He's just a pace off and a millimeter shy of getting the right calibrations for either his passes or his free kicks. So there's something off there. And so once Messi is not in full form, you can tell that Barcelona will not be in full form. And because every time they get the ball, they're always going to look for him.
But do you think Suarez should have taken that free kick free kick yesterday?
If you have Messi on the pitch, would you give the ball to Suarez? Think about that. That's just what it is. I mean, the very first free kick that was a little bit very close to the 18-yard box in the first half. I thought Suarez should have put his leg through it.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, if you have Messi, would you really want to give it to Suarez? There's just too many things. I think a lot more Barcelona players need to put the onus on themselves to start playing a little more, to start determining things. Because every time it beats me that you get the ball, you're in the 18-yard box and you're looking for Messi to give ball to.
Look, that's the instruction they've got in the locker room.
There's no such thing as that's the instruction. You get on the pitch, you play the man in front of you. It's that simple. I'm not saying you should change your position, because that one you will sit on the bench till Biakino come and Tega doesn't pay salary. So, but what you need to do is when you get into the 18, your killer instinct should be up. And I didn't see that yesterday. I didn't see that sharpness. I didn't see it. Musa Dembele tried one or two things, but he was way off, and he's just coming back from injury. So I understand that he may be a little bit rusty. But for Suarez, it's for the addicts. I don't get it.
Nathan Njoko from Kirikita says Bayern will be without Müller and Kimmich, while we'll have Chamberlain, Van Dijk, and possibly Joe Gomez back, which is very good for us. Now Matip and Fabinho did a very good job at the back for us. Didn't see that coming. Manny, oh Manny, what am I to do with you? Nathan Njoko says. And then Chimobi Victor adds this one. It says Barcelona, Liverpool, and Bayern Munich were all a bunch of jokers for not scoring even a goal, thereby destroying all the tickets last night.
Yeah.
Lagos, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more stories inside of the locker room here on Smooth 98.1. Excuse me.
We haven't even gotten to Ronaldo, so we're going to do Ronaldo very quickly.
Ronaldo next, yeah?
Yeah, very quickly. No more.
Valentine, I sent something to
Yes. Should I print?
We have many comments today. And not Chimobi, not from Chimobi.
Yeah.
2 copies, yeah? Send.
folic acid and niacin that are essential for us to grow, and it tastes really great too.
Yeah, his free kick.
Yeah.
I think it would have left it for Suarez.
Yeah.
It was too central and too close.
Yeah.
That's
It
Suarez's
was like
ball.
a penalty.
Yeah, it was central and too close. That's Suarez's position.
Did you know exactly what she said? Is what the commentator said.
Yeah.
So you know when both of them stood and they're like, "Oh, who do you think?" We know like how they do the whole trying to say. The guy was like, "Of course it's gonna be Messi. How can you have Messi and Suarez there?" And then But like you said, it probably would have been an easy goal for
It's
somebody
easier for
else to
Suarez
play.
to put his leg through that ball.
Mhm.
Messi would like to take the ball up over the wall and down, but that place was too short for it to come down at the time.
And that was exactly
Yeah,
what happened.
so he should have left this free kick for Suarez. Suarez will put his ball through straight down. That's Suarez.
When he was fouled, it was like, well, goal has come
See,
for them.
it's too close for it to come up and down like that. And too central.
Mm.
So don't stop. Do you know how
Thank you.
world is an
Cheer.
Thank you.
travel with has you totally covered.
Who is coming in?
Doctors Foundation, Cancer Foundation, we're talking about
So much
I'm sure people will have a lot of questions. Usually when it comes to, and because it's about children,
or you visit our Lagos campus.
we used to have there's this what's it called, CECP.
Come get your wings.
I can't remember the name now. They also deal with all kinds of cancers.
They came close too many times. They were the ones that had the most threatening of childhood.
I thought Leon really played ruthlessly, Leon, because they knew that.
come up with this message and then go straight to the story.
Okay. Alright, mics are up. Welcome back, Lagos. It's time for us to continue with the locker room part of Smooth Breakfast with Valentine.
And Ayo.
Alright, now we will go to your messages. If you'd like to send a message to us, please go on to WhatsApp. Our number is 0809 444 0981. Now, Chika here says, Chika from Marina says, now out for these two Manchester clubs, how could both of them have beaten the Chelsea club 8-0 in the interval of 8 days without them Chelsea scoring one goal in both encounters?
Questions. Now, Juventus coach Massimiliano Allegri says that having Cristiano Ronaldo on his side is an advantage ahead of the Portuguese star's return to Madrid for Wednesday's Champions League last 16 first leg clash against Atletico, which is today. Now, in his words, Allegri said yesterday, having Ronaldo is an advantage, but he alone is not enough. The whole team needs to put in a strong performance. The team is growing physically, psychologically, and technically. We have to keep going as we enter the most important stage of the season.
Yes, and that will be important for them. That I think for me, Cristiano Ronaldo just gives them a leg up in the Champions League. Prolific goal scorer, very good penalty taker. Look, anything can happen in the last minute, and Cristiano Ronaldo steps up to take that penalty. It's a win-win. So if you ask me, he's totally right, and it's making Juventus look a little stronger. Then they come against an Atletico Madrid side who used to be known for being very stingy defensively, very solid defensively, and getting put on the counter attack to score goals.
Yeah.
But Atletico Madrid haven't been that solid defensively this season. And so it gives, with a Cristiano Ronaldo who had scored, I think, 21 or 22 times against an Atletico Madrid side, it gives Juventus just a slight advantage. For me, this was the tie. This was the match of this round. Atletico Madrid versus Juventus. But I think if you ask me, it's just tipping in favor to me to Juventus side. But Atletico Madrid, because of Ronaldo, number one, and because of the fact that Atletico Madrid are not so solid defensively anymore. Yeah, so that's it. But on the other hand, Manchester playing against Schalke, that was just so easy. They get easy draws just like in the FA Cup.
I will take our comments to round off the locker room this morning. Unfortunately, our time is fast spent. Nusa here says a 3-0 win for Liverpool is a great result for Liverpool. Duh. A goalless draw isn't, however. Bayern have to be very wary for conceding in Germany.
Ocon from Pestec Town says any player that denies Messi, Suarez, and Dembele from scoring in the UCL is called a denier. Alright, so we have more messages. This one is from Aki from Ikorodu. It says Sarri has managed Empoli in Napoli. I think his next job should just be somewhere in Tripoli. Very, very apt. Now, Chiri Nancy says, good morning. Manchester 8, Chelsea 0. Manchester City scored 6. Then Manchester United helped with their neighbor to make it 8-0. Is this not a disgrace? Chelsea should better give up and forget playing the Carabao Cup finals against the City. Wow.
All
Guys,
right. Thank you so much for your messages. Thank you, Tega. You can get Tega. You can send her all your messages. Show her some love at Tega Supreme on Twitter and at LIS International and see what she's doing with ladies in sports. All right, guys. We'll go to a quick break right now. When we come back at 9 o'clock, we'll be talking something really important. Last week was World Child Cancer Day, and today we have some experts who will be talking about that in detail. This is Smooth 98.1.
They're all gunning for that Chelsea. They are bigger Champions League matches and laughing at Chelsea in the FA Cup.
it'll be alright.
They'll be all-
That's nice. Call me cool, but
Will be flowing. Every single jump.
Thank you.
Every
No.